Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to our Friday. I have multiple screens going, so I'm trying to figure out where I should be looking. Welcome to our Friday monthly training. So excited to see so many of you joining us and everyone on here. So my name is Megan Penley Pickett, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Dean of Education, excuse me, for the Heartland College Coaching Program. I have seen and talked with many of you over the last few months. It's so great to see so many people here today. So what we are going to do is, I just have a few updates. There's so much that's happening in the world. I don't know if you're all aware, maybe not. There's so much that's happening in the world. There's so much that's happening in education and with how we're able to work with people, how we are changing and pivoting how we're working with people, whether you as the consultant or us as the program, that it feels like I should have a lot more updates than I do right now. And right now, what we're really focusing on is our individual students, what they're experiencing in their home schools, the schools that they're attached to, whether that is at home now or if that is in a specific state or in a specific area. Whereas back in the spring, we were really seeing that being the same across the board, that no one was in person, that everything was remote. So we were seeing a little bit more continuity with that. Right now, we are in a current climate where there are certain school districts within a state, certain states that are in school or hybrid or kind of all over the place, which makes sense for those areas. Families are making decisions that are good for them. So what our focus right now really is on, especially from the coaching side of things, is really talking with those students, talking with those families, finding out what are your choices, what choices have you made, and then helping them create their path from there. Not that it was ever, one single path for everyone before. You just have to do X, Y, and Z, and then you're fine. But even more so, given some of the challenges that we are seeing in higher education as well as K-12 education, our focus again is really working with those individuals. So for you as consultants, if you have students who are currently in the program, do whatever you can to your comfort level to reach out to them, make sure that they're connecting with their coaches. What we're seeing a little bit of is that students and families are getting overwhelmed with that. Back in February, March, April, we thought, okay, by the fall, we're going to be back in school business as usual. And we're not seeing that. So they're really overwhelmed with that. And when students get overwhelmed, when families get overwhelmed, they tend to take a step back and not engage on email, not read some of those recommendations until they start to feel that kind of bubbling up of like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do, what do I do? And then kind of reach out then. So whatever you can do to facilitate them contacting the coaches, having those open conversations. Our coaches are doing a really great job, and they're reaching out to students that they haven't heard from, trying to really get a sense of what type of learning environment they are in, what are they looking for, that type of thing. So that's a lot of information at the beginning to say we don't have a lot of blanket updates right now because we're really working on that individualized level. The way that we are doing that, and we have before, don't get me wrong, but we are really drilling down because it does look so different for all of our students. And how we are doing that for any new students that are coming in or any of your prospective students is a lot of you are taking me up on the offers to get on the phone with either groups of people, just like this, or getting on the phone or Zoom and talking with individual clients about the comprehensive program and what that looks like for their student-specific grade, what we'll be focusing on, or what our options are and how that may help to fill some of the gaps that they are experiencing. So keep doing that. I love to get on the phone. I love to hear the questions from you as consultants, from our families. People are always like, I'm really sorry, I have questions. I'm like, no, you need to ask them because I think I know what I'm saying and I think that it's clear. And then people ask a question and I'll say, oh, I guess that wasn't clear. Let me clarify for you on some of those pieces. So we want to keep moving forward with that, with offering that up. In the signature of my email, every time I send out an email, it's in there that I have a link that you can just choose to go on, or you can reach out to me via email and say, hey, we'd really like to schedule a meeting with you, and you can go on and find a time that works for you or the client that you're working with. If you are in an office setting, whatever that looks like, if you're attached to a financial center and you want to have a training for your consultants, if you want to have a refresher for your team, if you are involved with a parent-teacher association, or another group, maybe through a religious organization or another job that you have, that you just want a presentation about what the college coaching program is about, shoot me an email, send me an email that says, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. We'll find a day and time. Usually that's going to be in the evening. You're not going to find those times on my calendar link. I reserve that typically for my own family when they are home. They are in school, so then they're coming home in the evening. And so I don't want to make that widely available for just sort of willy-nilly. So I'm happy to work with you on what night of the week works, what time works, so we can work that out on an individual basis. So don't think just because it doesn't show up on that calendar link that it's not available to you. So keep those coming. This is really a time where I think that we are seeing, there's so many questions because there's so many changes, and our high school staff, our high school counselors and the teachers and the volunteers, they are stretched thin just managing how are we going to get students to graduate, how are we going to keep health and safety at the top of our mind, right, and do that for the community as well as the students. That is not, it's not that it's not our concern. We don't have to worry about those pieces because we are a remote driven program. So we can take that time to really dig in. What's going on with the students? What are their goals? How are we going to get you there and help them start discerning what are good options for them and their family? So this is really a great time to enroll students regardless of what their age is. But this is really a great time. People often ask, is it too late if they're a junior? Is it too late if they're a senior? It's never too late. We will work with what we have. We will provide information based on what we know about what's going on, and then are able to tailor some of that information to the students as well based on their grade and what's going on for them. What is my email? I'm already spelling it wrong. People are asking, what is my email? I have now spelled it wrong twice. I'm going to put it in the chat there. It's megan.pickett at hife-usa.org. If you click on the chat button on the bottom, it'll come up and you'll see it there. So feel free, send me an email to schedule any of those, to ask any questions that you might have, all of those things. The only other couple of updates that I have, and then I want to open it up for questions, for kind of how everybody is doing, but wanted to make sure I sort of gave my stump speech at the beginning, so everybody knows how to get in contact with me. So the only other things, and I just updated the team consultant calendar. So on your Office 365 attached to your Haifa email, we have our next week on Monday the 14th. We have our first of our 2 monthly Value of the College Coaching Program event that's happening. That's at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a really great place to, again, in lieu of a personalized training, this is great for your financial center. This is really designed for your prospective clients that are looking to get information about what we offer, to ask questions directly to the program. Typically it's myself or Coach Mark Smith that is hosting those. So have them get on. We talk about the program. We walk through what the prices are. We walk through how it works, the benefits, all of those things. And then you can do what you're really good at and leverage that information, meet the needs of your individual prospective clients. So we do the heavy lifting on presenting the program. Then you can then follow up with those prospective clients. So that information is on the team consultant site. Because of what Zoom is requiring for the majority of our meetings, much like this one, you had to have a passcode. You'll have to, I believe you have to register. It's free, there's no cost to it, but you will have to register, or your client will have to register for the value webinar, trying to get my brain to work, the value webinar that will be happening on Monday. So just make sure that they have that link. They can register up until when it's starting, or even kind of during it. I think that it doesn't, we don't have it where it's blocked at all, but they do have to register. It's different than a couple of months ago where you could just click on a link and it would come up. Because of lots of security things that are going on with Zoom, we have to add a couple of these pieces in there as well. Somebody's asking if this webinar today is going to be recorded. It is. I'm verifying it's recording right now. We'll be able to get that out probably early next week, and we can put it on the team consultant site as well. The other, I'm going to make sure I have the right time. The other webinar that is coming up, and we just finalized this. Let's look, I believe, hold on, give me 1 second. I believe next Wednesday, the 16th. Give me 1 second. What we have coming up is an essay writing webinar that is for our currently enrolled students. And so, sorry, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at my other screen so I can find this information that I just put up there. I want to give you the correct information. And so there it is. Okay. So yes, next Wednesday, September 16th, it's going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be recorded. It will be made available. But this is going to be a webinar that is hosted by one of our essay reviewers, who's really great. She's actually just worked on a document that we're getting ready to roll out here to accompany some of sort of the how-tos, things like that, what to write about, how to start writing that. You know, students get really blocked around how should I write this? What should I be writing? And because that's a core benefit of being in this program, especially for our older students, we want to make sure that they know how to do that from the beginning, that they have the resources available. So we are hosting that webinar again next Wednesday, September 16th. You all are welcome to join. Again, that information is on the team consultant site. You do have to again register and do all of that. So that is easy. So somebody is asking, so coaches don't review essays. We have one coach who reviews her own essays. She used to be the department head for an English department, so she finds it easier to review her own, but the rest of our coaches, we utilize an essay review team. So they are people who have a background in writing, in professional editing, in college admissions, working in those different offices. So we have them that are working, that team that works on reviewing our essays. And so those usually get turned around in about 72 business hours with lots of feedback for the students. It goes through the coach. So that's exactly how it's supposed to work. So students send their essays to the coach, who send it to me, who send it to we play a little bit of tagging up on that, but we make sure that gets done. So we are going to have that that webinar. And then in October, Tuesday, October 6th is going to be our Fafsa webinar. We're going to do that twice. So this is something that we do every year around this time. And so we are going to do one that's I'm going to give you this in Mountain Standard Time. So The first one on Tuesday, October 6th is at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, 4:30 Pacific, 5:30 Mountain, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. And then we're doing another one that's at 7:30 p.m. Same night, Tuesday, October 6th, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which puts us at 6:30 Western Pacific Time, 7:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time. So as opposed to doing one and then sending out the link, we wanted the ability to meet our different time zone friends. You can get on more than once. Your clients can get on more than once. It's a lot of great overview information. It'll be hosted by Coach Amy, who is our guru on FAFSA and financial aid, and we'll have several of our other coaches that are on there as well. And so right now, these are all public links. We want this to really be promoted to our enrolled students. We're definitely going to make sure that they are on there, and then go from there. If there's room and Zoom tells us how much room we have, then students who are not enrolled in the program will have that. And then we will also have links. We will record those, and that will be sent out to our enrolled students, as well as put on the team consultant site. So you have access to that to be able to share that with clients and things like that. So I'm going to read a couple of lots of engagement today. I love it. Do we still have the promo discount code? Yeah, so right now our comprehensive packet, our comprehensive program, which is typically at $2,695, so $2,695, is discounted through the end of September. So I think September 30th is the last of the month, for $24.95. You don't need a discount code. It will show up in the cart when the client goes to pay for that. So that discount at $24.95 is available through September 30th. So the links and things that I was talking about with our webinars that are coming up, either the value or the essay review or the FAFSA, that is located on the team consultant site. It also gets sent out in the reminders that come out from James in our office about that coming out. One comes out at the beginning of the month and in the middle of the month, sort of a newsletter format. So that is there. If you can't find that or have any issues with that, shoot me an email and I would be happy to send you that information as well. So somebody, Carmelita is asking a question, and Carmelita, I might ask you to unmute yourself and let me know about this question. I want to make sure I answer it correctly. The basic task to do, the bullet points only, and so feel free to unmute yourself. I'm not sure that I quite understand the question, and I want to be able to best explain that to you. So feel free to unmute, and I will answer that for you.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Just like, for example, when I approach a family, I know that they are 8th grade, so heading to go on a Haifa. So the first thing they will ask me how much it will cost them. I have your contact number and everything, but to begin with, well, that's why I'm asking only for the basic task that I have to do, give them a little bit of information. Then from there, I can move forward.
Sure. So some of the basic things, one of the tools that we have available for our consultants, and this is for everyone, we have short videos. It's located in the consultant team site. We have short videos. They're between 10 and 15 minutes, depending upon the video itself. And it's for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So this is a short thing that you can either sit with them, or sit virtually with them, or you can send it to them in a link. But it gives them the overview of, hey, you're in 8th grade. Welcome to the program. This is what you're going to focus on in the 8th grade, right? So it answers a lot of those questions that people have. And so then that is meant to make your job simpler in that you can give them that information and then you can talk about it. So for those of you who are either new to the program or looking for a refresher, those individuals, it'll take you about an hour to watch all of them, to really go through that. And then you can start making your own notes of what you would want to say and not just rely on the video. But that's a really great place to start, is that short video about here's what you can expect in the 8th grade or the 12th grade or whatever that might be. And then you can follow up with them. The cost for the comprehensive program is the same for 8th grade as it is through 12th grade. Anyone who's in the comprehensive program, it's typically going to be at that $26.95. Again, we have that discounted price of $24.95 that's going through September 30th. So does that help, Carmelita?
Yes. Will I be able to, I'm in Las Vegas, will I be able to share it to them?
Yes, yep, it's a YouTube link that you're able to share. So you just cut and paste from that, and then you're able to share that with them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Helps.
Great, great. Let's see, what else do we have on here? So Edward, you're asking about what's the consultant website. So that is, I know it seems like it's easy for me to just say, oh, it's just the website, and then I have to look it up. Let me go over here really quick. It's through the Haifa portal, probably where you get your email from for Heartland, that type of thing. So if you're on there, go and check that out. If you're having some trouble with what that looks like, send me an email. I'll get you in contact with somebody who has sort of the technical template email that they can send out to you that will make sense more than my saying, and then it's a backslash and a so, but yeah, that's a great question. So if anybody has any questions about how do I get to this team site, what am I doing, go ahead and send me an email. Again, megan.pickett@hife-usa.org. I'll connect you with that. I'll send you out the email that's like, here, you just click here, then you can bookmark it from there. So, okay. Just getting used to my new home office setup with my 2 screens. I'm like, where's my mouse? Can interested families, so Vicky's asking, I think this is about the Fafsa webinar, Vicky, correct me if I'm wrong. And so can interested families participate as a way to market the program? Absolutely. And so what for the essay or for FAFSA, really right now, we are in the business of making sure that students have and families have access to information. We want them to know that there are resources that are out there. We want them to know that we are a resource and that you are a resource as well. But there's some generalized information that we have pulled together, both for FAFSA as well as for the essays, that we want to share with the general public as well as our enrolled students. Now, the salespeople in you or the parents who are paying for this program, their next question is, if these webinars are available to anyone, what am I paying for? So here's the answer to that. This is my thought on that, is that we are pulling together a lot of the general, for these webinars, for the essay webinar as well as the FAFSA, we're pulling together a lot of the general information that is out there. We're pulling it together and presenting it in a way that makes sense. That's a starting point for students. Just listening to this FAFSA webinar is not all that they need to do to be prepared for financial aid or FAFSA, but it does give them a starting point. Where our enrolled families truly benefit, or what an additional benefit is if we're talking about essays, they then get to go in and write those essays, turn that in for professional feedback, unlimited amounts of times, right? And so we provide that. And so that's a huge piece. If you look at other college coaching programs or prep programs, things like that, students are going to pay per essay or they're going to have a cap on that. That is not how our program currently operates. So that's a huge benefit when it comes to the essay piece. They have direct access to their coach to talk about, okay, I know I heard this on the webinar, or I read this in the document for how I should start, but I'm still confused. Can we get on a call? Can we exchange emails? They have that direct access. And then again, they get that professional review and feedback from our team of essay reviewers. So that's one piece on the essays. When it comes to FAFSA, it's similar. Again, that webinar is pushing that information out. It's pulling together a number of different sites saying, hey, you should look at this. But a lot when it comes to financial aid, whether it's FAFSA, state aid, something that's coming from the specific school once students are accepted or admitted, you're going to want to look at that on a personalized basis. We provide reviews for FAFSA. Now, our organization does not provide financial advice. Oh, you should do this or you should move it. That's not what we do. But we do look for common mistakes. We do help them navigate what's assets should be included and not included, and some of those things. Again, we pull that information together on the webinar, and then our coaches will then work with the specific families on their individualized documents. They help them, you know, as they are submitting them. We do not fill them out for them, and we don't submit them for them because that is illegal. And so we like to stay within the letter of the law when we can. But we help them and we provide that and make sure that they are maximizing their options to the best of our ability. So that's the step further. So that's one of the reasons why we really believe, especially in these times, that it's important to get information out there to the general public. And we hope that they do then turn into clients for you as well as for us, so then we can begin to offer that individualized attention on their specific situation. So that's my long answer to that question about that. So if you don't already follow our Facebook page, I would encourage you to do that. We are posting information in our social media outlets, primarily Facebook. We are getting onto Instagram as well as LinkedIn. So look for us in all of those places, but that also gives you a really easy place to grab the registration link to send that out to your prospective clients. There's a question, how are we responding to the fact that admissions are not requiring ACT or SAT? How is HIFE pivoting to advise students? So what we're really telling students, so great when you all ask questions, I just forget to breathe and drink water. So what we are telling students is we want to look at the individual schools that they're applying to. If they're juniors and they don't know where they'll be applying, they have the ability to take the test. We're encouraging them to do that if they're able to. Now those dates keep changing. It's a real moving target for students and families. If they're not able to, then they're not able to. Colleges and universities understand that. A lot of colleges and universities, to the point of this question, they are making it test optional or they're doing away with it. Now that is not every school that's out there. And so the work that we are talking with students about is, again, assessing where they are at individually, helping them decide, is it a good idea? We always think it's a good idea to take the test if it's available to them. That's gonna be sort of the first line. If they're seniors and they didn't take the test and it doesn't look like there's any foreseeable way that they're going to take their chosen test, making sure that the college and university, that they present that in the right way, that they are seeing if the test is optional or if it has been waived. So we don't want to make blanket statements. You don't have to take it, for anybody. That's not going to be true for everyone. So that's the benefit of working with the coach, is that the student is always being encouraged to do their individual research, because it's going to be different at UC Santa Clara than it is at Ball State University, than it is at St. Mary's of the Woods College, right? Like they're all over the place in some of those. So we want to make sure that they're getting that best individualized advice. So there's a question, and I see Rosa, I have your question here and your hand is raised. So feel free to unmute yourself if you would like to ask this question. And if I answer it already, then you don't have to do that. So the question is, do you have to pay one lump sum to get the discount, or do you have to get the payment plan? That's a great question. So for the comprehensive program, we do offer payment plans, and that discount applies whether you are paying all at once or choosing one of the payment plan options. So that's available to anyone on the comprehensive program. One note is that our options, the options that we have laid out that are a lower price point for our families, those you do have to pay all at once, and there's currently not a discount on that. So when we're talking about the discount, it is for the comprehensive program. When we're talking about payment plans, that only applies to the comprehensive program as well. Has the current slides of the overview of the program been updated on the consultant website? The existing ones are the older PowerPoint. I believe, Wendy, and you can let me know if there's a specific one, and you may want to do that in an email. We're figuring out some of those. I believe that we have added some additional. There is still some of the older PowerPoints. We know that a lot of our consultants have been using those and are comfortable with that, so we didn't want to take that down, but I believe that we have added some of the newer overview pieces for you. If there's something specific that you are looking for, let me know, and I will either figure out how to put it up there, or we'll create that. So Frankie is asking, how do you access those videos? I think these are the grade specific videos. If you go into the consultant website, on the lower left-hand side, there's a subheading for webinars, and it'll have grade-specific webinars. So it'll say 8th grade overview, 9th grade overview. So that's where you can get that. You can click on it. It'll bring it up. It'll start playing the YouTube video. You can just grab that link from your browser, and you're able to share that. Oh, thanks, Erica, for adding the SharePoint on there for everybody. So if for folks who are asking what is that website, mine always looks a little bit different. So I appreciate a consultant sending that out there to make sure that that is for consultants. So for people who are asking about how do I get to the consultant team site, what does Megan keep referring to? Our friend Erica has put that up in the chat. So go ahead, if you click on the chat on the bottom, you can scroll up to a post by Erica Yagi that's got that information on there. So thank you for that. And so so Cal Grant information, our coaches are, I don't know, Elizabeth, if you're asking me specifically about that, but our coaches are getting up to date all of the time with any changes that are happening to Cal Grant and how that's going to affect students. So if you have students who are in the state of California who are getting ready to apply for Cal Grant and things like that, we will address that a little bit, I believe, in the Fafsa webinar, or at least mention that as part of financial aid. And if you have those students, I would suggest that they reach out to their coaches directly, again, to work through what their personal situation is and how to maximize their application for Cal Grant. Students do have unlimited essay reviews for scholarship. We're talking scholarship essays or college or university essays. We don't do any of the essay reviews for their English lit classes or social studies or anything like that. Our parameters are around scholarship as well as applications for admission. Is the client is only interested in the essay proofing portion of the program? Which package is that? So we have an application and essay review package that's in there. So that would be the one. That one, our options do have limitations on them. And so this one specifically, Wendy, if a client is interested in the application and essay review package, what they get in that package is 2 college applications reviewed, as well as 5 essays that are reviewed, and those are reviewed an initial time and then a finalized time. So it's 5 individualized essays that then get reviewed twice. So that is what that package includes. So that one is not unlimited. None of our packages are unlimited on time or number of reviews, but they are a really good gateway. They are a really good option for families who are only looking for something very specific. The Fafsa webinar will be held on Tuesday, October 6th at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time and 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. Again, that information is on, and as I'm looking at the consultant team site, I have to add the second one on there. It must not have saved yesterday, but those links will be up on the consultant team site to get that information. How much do we have to pay to renew consultant status? It's $49 to renew. If you need to renew your consultant certification, it's $49. Lots of questions today, people. That is really, really great. What else is going on out there that I can answer for you? You can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. That would be great.
Yeah, I want, hello, Megan. I just want to ask you very quickly. The certification is $49 for domestic. Same thing for international?
We're working right now on our international. It is a slightly different price point. I believe it's $99 for the international piece, but and thank you for bringing that up, Marcel, because there's so much that's happening specifically around the pandemic. We're being really thoughtful and careful about working with international students, not because we don't want them to come to the country. We want to make sure that if they are going to pay for services, that they are then going to be able to come to the US to go to school. And so we are working with them on an individual. I know that's not exactly what you were asking, Marcel, but that it felt like a good time to talk about that. I've had several conversations with consultants and some families who are interested in it. And we just want to be really sure that that is the right move for that family, just given sort of the current climate that's happening right now. So if you are interested in being certified in the international, as an international consultant, let me know. And if you have any families or students or things like that that are interested in it, I'd be happy to get on the phone and answer any specific questions to make sure that it is a good use of their money and their time as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Megan. This is
Yes.
Anthony Murray.
Hi.
All right, I'm sorry. Great. My question is, do you guys occasionally work with the reps if we had a presentation, a public presentation to the general public or even at a school about HIFE?
Yeah, absolutely. So we would do that virtually, which is not new anymore, right, to everyone.
Right.
But yes, if that is something that you are interested in, reach out to me. Let me know what you're thinking. But we would be happy to partner on that presentation, to be available for questions and answers, to host some of the major presentation pieces, whatever would fit. We absolutely would be interested and available to do that.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody,
Megan,
feel free to unmute yourself. Yes, hi.
Megan, hi, this is Ching. I have one quick question. I just want to verify with you. So if for somebody, they're senior currently and they want just the package of just reviewing asset, those, you said, what's the price?
$695.
$695.
Correct.
Okay, and how many essays they're gonna review? You guys gonna review for that?
5 essays, and those will get an initial review and a final draft review. So each essay.
So it's like the essay means like a common app, and as well as like this individual school, they have their own asset, right? It's like small prompt or something. So those all counts one. If it's one college, they have like a common app, and as well as little those, how you account that?
That's a great question, and so we would work with them on an individual basis. If it's a 100-word prompt along with a longer essay, we could put that together. But if it's really those sort of 700, 500-word essays, those are going to stand alone in that package.
So okay, 5. So it's essentially it's a 600, and for you said a 5 essay, right?
Yes, and then it's also got 2 college applications that are a part of that as well.
2 college application. Okay. Okay, yeah. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody feel free. I'm going to read a question off of here. It's from Elizabeth, so I want to make sure I answer your question correctly, Elizabeth, so feel free to correct me. you're saying any information from private universities. I'm not sure what specifically you are looking for on that. Is it legal to be charging for a tour fee? It's not, especially if it is, to my knowledge, if it's a private university, if I'm reading this correctly, and it is that information is put out there, that it's not illegal. They can do that. What they probably wouldn't be able to do, I don't know if it's illegal, but it is certainly unethical, is they would say, we wouldn't accept you unless you come, you know, do the tour or pay that fee. But how they run that is up to them, especially on the private side of things. And so that would just have to be something, you know, finding out why they are charging that. I don't think it's a great idea, but if we don't know why they're charging that. Is that a new thing based on the pandemic? Is that something that had been in place before? So I would get some more of that information before we just decided not to do that, but it seems a little funky. And does every student have to take subsidized and unsubsidized loans? Students are not required to take loans at all. Those are options that are going to be available to them based on their FAFSA, and one or the other or a combination of the two might be the right choice for that student or for that family. That's something that we talk a little bit about in the webinar, the FAFSA webinar, and it's definitely something that as students are getting their admissions letters, their admittance letters sometime in the winter and spring, that they work with their coach on. Is this a great idea for me to take this? How does this really affect my family? So it's not required for students to take those subsidized or unsubsidized loans. It is an option that's going to be available to most students based on their FAFSA. So good question. Good question. What else? What else is going on out there? Any success stories? Anything exciting to share with the group? My kids went back to school. That feels exciting for me. In first grade and third grade, and so they are at school right now. It's so quiet at my house, so that's exciting for me. They are very excited to do that.
I have some comments, good comments to share.
Great.
I have a student being with Coach Amy since sophomore year, and all along. And you know, this kid's in a private school, great student. Up to this year, he's a senior applying, you know, SS stuff. So her last week, his parents called me, his mom called me, just said, "Oh, I just want to let you know, you know, when you told me and Coach Amy is a great coach, you're absolutely right." So he said the kids, you know, the students sent the first draft of a common app to Coach Amy, and Amy sent him back some comments. She wrote, she said, "It's just right on. We read, you know, as a parent, we read, you know, read his essay. Just we know missing something, but we couldn't pinpoint things. But it's Coach Amy is so excellent. It's just like just simple sentences, direct and right on. So it's like I really appreciate it, you know, the program. Really appreciate Coach Amy. So
that's great. Thank you for sharing.
Very
that.
good. Very
Thank
good.
you for sharing that. That's great. So we have a question on the chat line. Excuse me. What is the process of assigning a coach for a student? So here's how it works. So you all, as the consultant, you fill out that enrollment form. If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it for a while, you can always click on it and kind of scroll through it so you know what to be prepared for. Where it really comes into play of how that helps me, I'm the person who assigns the students to the coach or the coach to the student, however you look at that. The more information that you provide on that, the more information you provide about the student. I'm not talking about any of that tax information or any of the financial information. That's really, I want to be really clear about that. That's really unnecessary for the college coaching part of that. So if you don't have their tax information or they don't want to give it to you, that's fine. we have included that in the past because sometimes you all are also financial planners, or you're helping them with insurance product needs, things like that. And it's helpful in that way. So it was really meant to be sort of this one-stop shop. So when I'm talking about filling it out, it's really like that first, probably I think it equates to about 4 pages of the student information, family information. So the more information that you can provide on, or have the student provide on, what they are interested in, hobbies that they have had, experiences that they have had. We're not asking necessarily to put in a whole resume for this student, but the more information we have on what they are looking for, that helps me match up interests and talents of our coaches. We have a fantastic, terrific coaching staff that works with the students regardless, right? But if there's a better fit in different places, you know, if a student is interested in being a lawyer, we might match that student up with Coach Diane because she's a lawyer, right? And so, and there's lots of different things. She's also been in Silicon Valley, and she also is an entrepreneur. Like, all of our coaches have so many interests and experiences that they're bringing to the table. So the more information you put on there, I then review that and look at what is our caseload for our coaches right now, because we want to make sure that we're not overloading the coaches so they cannot, so that would prevent them or make it a challenge for them to provide that individualized, personalized service. And so I find the balance, I do my best. I'm just a human being, but I do my best, you know, to find that balance between what I think the student needs based on that, and what the coach can bring to the table, and do they have space in their caseload that month. So that's what that's like. I then send an email out to the student, the coach, you as the consultant, and the family that's listed on the application that says, welcome so-and-so to the program. We're so excited you're here. Your coach is so-and-so. They will be in touch, and within 72 business hours, the coach is in touch with that student. So that's in a nutshell what that process looks like. So from what I'm getting is that the consultants are not the coaches. Correct. You all are the consultants. The people that are on here, you are basically the brokers for the program. Now, how you want to interpret that, you may leverage the relationships that you are building with the families for additional products that you are working with. You may stay very connected with the families, and some people take a very hands-off approach. But you as the consultant are the people who are enrolling the students in the program. It then gets handed over to the college coaching program vis-a-vis to our coaches. And then the coaches do the coaching on FAFSA and choosing your classes and all of those pieces. So good question. How does this program benefit, how does this program I know I'm just reading it wrong, freshmen in college, especially before completing FAFSA, and how much will it cost? How does this program benefit? Let me see if I am answering this question correctly. If I'm not, please feel free to jump in. So if we're looking at first-year students in college, where this program can really help, if they have never filled out the FAFSA before, this would be a good time to do that. If they are in college, it's pretty likely that they have done that in the past, and so they don't have to refill that out this year. That becomes available. So the way FAFSA works is for first-time students, students who are filling it out for the first time, typically going to be in their senior year of high school or their last year of high school. If we have students who are going through high school in an accelerated way, that's available to them in October of that year. Once you fill that out, it then becomes available, I believe, on July 1, sometime in that time to reapply, which is a lot less intensive than the initial application. So if they are a freshman in college and they have not filled out FAFSA, that is currently going to be available to them to fill out. So that would be a benefit in that they would have the opportunity to fill that out and get that reviewed. We also help students in figuring out, what do you want to major in? So a lot of those things that we talk with our high school students about, if our college freshmen are unaware of that, and I used to work at a college university for a very long time, a lot of our college freshmen are unclear about what they want to be doing. And so we would work with them on that career assessments and figuring out what they want to do. How does that translate to a major? Those types of things. And then also how to transition from high school to college, especially in this weirdest year of all, right, of what it looks like. Transition may look like you're in your basement and not your bedroom, and for some students you're on campus. So those are a lot of the benefits that come for our college freshmen. And if they enroll in the comprehensive program, it's again going to be at that discounted price of $24.95 through September 30th. How do we help athletic students who want to, I'm assuming it's go, again, our coaches are well versed in that. And so we talk to them about obviously making sure that they are connecting with their local coach, that they are reaching out to specific schools in ways that they are able to, following the NCAA guidelines. So we talk to them a lot about that. And then what does it mean to be recruited and things like that. We have a couple of coaches who work more primarily with our student athletes when we get them in. So again, having that information on the enrollment form helps me to identify those coaches who may have more depth of knowledge in that area. Can the consultant have a communication with the coach of a student? Absolutely. So what I would ask is that if you do have those questions, you can send an email to the coach. You can also send an email to me if you have a question for the coach. But yes, you can absolutely go directly to the coach about whatever the question might be. Can I expand more on the post-high school planning options? So of our options, this is the least cost. I believe it's at, I'm not looking at it right now, but I believe it's at $395, maybe $495. And so what that really is designed for is for students who they just don't really know what to do next. And so these are going to be people who have already graduated high school. Maybe they're non-traditional students. Maybe they've taken an intentional or unintentional gap year. Maybe they are in college already and they are just looking for, I don't know what to do next. Either I don't know what to do career-wise, excuse me, I don't know if I should go to college, should I go to trade school, military, some of those things. And so it's really designed, it's very assessment-based, and it's very designed on, okay, what do you want to do? How do we want to get there? It's much more of a starting off point for students who are just feeling lost. And sometimes when our students are feeling lost or overwhelmed by options that are out there in the world, the idea of enrolling in a college coaching program feels limiting to them because they don't know if college is for them. They don't know if a four-year university is for them. They don't know if it's, again, military or trade school. So it's really designed for those students who are just feel a little bit like they're spinning and need some anchoring so they can start making and working a plan. So great question, Vicki. Thank you. Consultants get compensated via commission that is run through WFG. So that is based on the grid, which is something I think you're all familiar with. So it's based on the grid in WFG. How do we help athletic students pursue athletic career? Again, so I talked about that with our athletic students. So it's really just looking at it's all of the same services that we provide to our non-student athletes, but really looking at what are the different layers that are on top of that? How are you going to be a student athlete? What type of scholarships are you allowed to or not allowed to take on? Those types of things. So we have those specific conversations with them. Do coaches keep in touch even when the students start to attend college? As long as students are enrolled in the program, the coach keeps in contact with them. So again, that enrollment goes for a full year from the time of enrollment. So if someone were to enroll today, September 11th, 2020, they will stay in contact with them through September 10th, 2021. And for some students, that may mean into their first month of college. So it doesn't stop based on when the student starts or stops college or starts or stops high school. It's based on that enrollment. Can you transfer to different coaches if the student did not work out? Here is the short answer, yes. The longer answer is that needs to go through me, and we'll do everything we can to figure out what's really going on. Is it a communication? Is it a misunderstanding? We want our clients to be happy. We also want to be really clear about what our program does. So if you were having any of those questions or issues, they go to me, and then we do our best to kind of figure out all sides of the story and make the best next steps based on that. Okay, since applying for FAFSA for the 2021-2022 is open on October 1, should there be a concern with losing out on aid if they hold off on submitting until after the webinar on October 6th? No, it doesn't work quite like that with the first come, first serve. It's really based, you have a couple of months to do it. We really say, you know, really by Thanksgiving, beginning of December, you should have your FAFSA in. Anything after the first of the year, you may risk some of that funding having been delivered or sent out, but a week or two is certainly not going to make a difference on that. How much of a percentage of students stick with their assessment recommendation? So really where that comes from is, so I think what this is asking, Jason is asking, is how many students who are told that they should go into the medical field, you know, when they take that assessment, actually go into the medical field. And we don't have a percentage on that. I think that there are so many ways to go into those fields. And a lot of our students don't stay enrolled once they get into college, although it's absolutely open to them. What we do see is that assessment is a way to, you know, there's over 2,000 jobs and careers that are listed in Cooter. Now that is overwhelming for me, and I have a job and a career. And so what those recommendations really do serve from the beginning is to take away that overwhelm, teach students how to do the research around what does that career really mean? What are the different options within that specific career, right? Medical is going to be a doctor, a PA, a nurse, and a hospital administrator, a phlebotomist. I was going to say lobotomist because I just saw a weird commercial for a TV show. Maybe you're going to be a lobotomist too. There's all kinds of things that you can do, right? And so this gives them an avenue to start exploring that. So I think a lot of our students stay within some of the recommendations in the job families. How that manifests in the actual career is going to be based on the experiences that they then have in an internship or a job, what their classes are like when they get into college or university or community college or trade school, whatever that post-high school education is going to look like. That will help figure out exactly what that path looks like. So good question on that. All right. We have a couple of more minutes. This has been a great session today. I love it. This has been a great webinar. I'm sure you all love when I don't stop talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dry mouth. It's been great to see so many people on. I have so many varying questions, so keep those coming. Again, send me an email if anything comes up, megan.pickett@hife-usa.org. If I don't have the answer, I will make up a good one, or I will make sure that we get you connected to the right person that will connect you, especially on the technology sides of things. We'll make sure that we have someone if you're unable to get into that link that Erica shared with us. So again, this will be recorded, and so we will be sending that out. It'll be in the consultant team site. And so if you want a recording of this, or someone in your office or anyone else, you know, you have a friend who's like, oh, I missed the meeting, send me an email. We'll be able to get that out to you. So as always, I wish you continued health, continued safety.
Meg, I'm sorry.
Oh,
This
no,
is
go
Ching
ahead.
again. Yeah, just one more thing.
Yes.
So I just want to verify. It used to be like a annual renewal fee for the consultant, only if you don't enroll any students for the year. If you do, you have enroll, and then there's no fees, right? Is that still correct?
Correct. So if you enroll a student within the year, and your year, much like the enrollment for your students is based on their date of enrollment, your date, your anniversary of being a consultant is personal to you. And so within that year, if you have enrolled a student, you do not need to
Lost your sound, Megan.
Yeah. Thank you,
so
Meg.
you don't need to recertify if you have enrolled a student within that year. If you haven't, double check with our office to see, you know, sometimes there's a month or two leeway on there. And so, you know, make sure that you're checking that out. And then again, the re-enrollment fee, if you have not enrolled a student, or the recertification fee, I'm sorry, is $49.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Back to you. Mm-hmm.
Anthony, did you have a question?
I had lost your sound. I didn't know if it was my phone or what had happened.
Oh, got it.
I had lost you for a moment while you were explaining that. Let me make sure I have this clear.
Okay.
If someone as a consultant, if we enroll someone and they do not take the advantage of the program, or if they do take the advantage of the program, well, let me ask it this way. The $24.95 or $26.95, is that just for 1 year, or is that each year? Or does that cover the full period of time?
Good question. That is for the first year. And then every subsequent year after that is $500 renewal fee for the student or family. That's it.
All right, great. All right. So now if they, I want to make sure I understand the question that the lady was asking right before me. Mm-hmm. What was that question pertaining to?
So the question was, when do we have to recertify as a consultant? And
okay.
So if you have been certified as a consultant and have enrolled one student, we really want you to enroll as many as possible, but you have to enroll one student within that year, then you do not have to recertify as a consultant. If you didn't enroll a student in that year, you will have to recertify for the next time that you go to enroll a student.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure I understood. All right. Good enough. But the students, they only pay their $24.95 and then $500 each subsequent year.
Correct.
Whether it's from 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, or whatever. All right. Now, what happens if they're in college? Once they're in college, and do they still receive your consultation, or is that a whole different plan? Or
they just have to be enrolled in the program, and we absolutely work with college students. But if they're a freshman in college or a sophomore in college and they're enrolled in the program and have paid that $500, absolutely. We have recommendations built for them, and we work with them individually.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Just
all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just to complete you on that question for that gentleman, as long as the student is enrolled in the program, they will keep working with HIFE, even in the college, even in the graduate school, even in a postdoc, whatever, until they graduate. And they will help them look for a job as well.
Yes, correct. As long as they're enrolled in the program, we are happy to help them.
Exactly.
Thank you for that, Marcel. We have one other question that I want to answer. Is Haifa changing their policy about offering a discount for siblings? And right now we are not looking at that because we want to treat every student individually. They're typically going to be in different grades. I know you're going to tell me that we have twins and triplets, and I totally understand that. But oftentimes we are assigning different coaches, so they are receiving that different personalized. Boy, my brain just stopped. Attention, that individualized, working with them. So as of right now, there is not a discount for siblings. I can bring it up. We have another meeting next week, but as of right now, we're not doing that. So, all right, everybody. Now we are over time, so I am going to give you back your day. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. If anything comes up, megan.pickett@hife-usa.org. It was a pleasure to spend my Friday morning with you. I wish you happiness and health and safety. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Maggie.